everybody, this is Sarah from Simply Sarah Stampin'. Today I want to show you a pretty quick and simple masculine card that I made. And the one thing I want to focus on today is how I colored the truck on this card. I did not stamp it on Huckleberry Fusion cardstock. Instead, I stamped it on whipped cream, and then I used a sponging technique to color it in, and I want to show you how I did that. As you can see, this is a blue card, and the next card that I have for you is actually going to be Candy Apple. For those of you that know paint colors on cards, that is red. So I went ahead and I prepped my card up to this point. I stamped Fun Stamper's Journey background set called Graduated Dots using rock candy. And then I stamped the happy birthday, and that is from the Cake Time stamp set. And on the inside, I always like to put a little something in there. I used the old gas pump, and that's also from a stamp set called Hit the Road, and that is where the truck stamp is from also. So I will grab my truck that I prepped and show you what I did to get the color that I wanted. The first thing I did is obviously stamped it with black licorice, cut it out, and I masked the white part of the wheels and also the windows. I didn't want them to obviously be a dark red at all. So what I do is I take the sponges that Fun Stamper's Journey has, and I cut them into 6 pieces, kind of like a pie. And I used a really old punch that I have to get a tab on top, and then I just label it with the ink color that I use it on all the time. The first thing I want to notice, my hands are oily, so I can't ever touch the cardstock. If I do, my fingerprints show up on it. You might have that issue, you might not, but you're going to want to check, because if your fingerprints show, it's just not a nice, smooth look to your vehicle. When I ink it up, I also always make sure I dab it off a little bit. I don't want to start with it too dark, because if I do that, you'll get a really dark spot, and it just does not look quite as nice. So I just flip it around, and on this one, all I am doing is dragging the sponge pretty much in one direction. Depending on what you're doing with your sponging, you can use different techniques. You see I'm tapping it right here. Sometimes I use that technique, especially when I'm doing something with scenery and I want light and dark around the moon. Someday I'll have to show you a video on how I do that. As you can see, it's starting to get a little bit darker here, and we'll just keep on working with it to get it all smoothed out. I definitely want the whole thing darker than this. So we'll just keep on sliding that ink along, dabbing it each time before you put it on, so that there's not just a dark blob right in the middle. It's very simple and easy to do. All right, we're getting closer. I think I want it, yeah, I definitely want it a bit darker than this, so I won't dab it quite as much. There we go. There you go, look at that. Quick and simple technique. I just like the look of it better than using the solid cardstock. It seems to give it just a little bit more dimension or something. Once that's done, you just need to remove the masks, and I'm using my handy dandy bloom tool here to do that. I use some oh, I don't even know what you call it, but it's sticky on the back so it stays on. Okay, there we go. Look at that, nice and white. I really like the look of that. However, I don't quite like that look when it comes to the windows. I don't want them to be that bright white inside. So I don't know if you noticed on the blue card, but the windows are not completely white. So what I did is I didn't even ink up, at least with the blue, I did not ink up the sponge more. I just dabbed it a little bit and then dragged it in there. Like I said, I don't want to touch it with my fingers. There you go. It's all you have to do is to get rid of that bright white. Just rub it along there. As simple as that. And just pop it up. And we can put it on the card. That's a nice thing about having the card pre-assembled already. And as quick as that, you have a nice masculine card. Something nice to give to anyone who likes to, you know, check out all those vehicles, restore vehicles. I happen to work for my brother who has a restoration shop. I work in the office, so no, I do not help with the restorations, but making this card just makes me think of what he does for a living. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will be back with more videos for you soon.